What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris. I'm back here with another Nerds at 9 every night, weeknight that is, Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock for a few minutes here just to rap to you, let you know what I'm thinking in the sports world right now. And, as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to tell you right now why I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to win the NBA championship this season. And I know they currently sit as the 8th seed in the East as I make this video. But I'm not going to be deterred, and I'm going to go with what I feel and what I think. So stick around for that. That's what we're going to be doing in this one right here. But first, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Support your boy, support the channel. Like this video, especially if you're watching live with me right now. Go ahead and like that. Really helps, the algorithm, get some more people in here, get some more interaction going. So let's do that, but as far as this video goes, let's get into it. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I haven't really heard many people saying this, so I wanted to be, one of the first people to get this out here after the Ben Simmons trade, after I've had a few days now to think about, all the pieces on both sides, look around, the landscape of the league. And, I got to tell you, outside of, the Bucks, the Suns, and the Warriors, I think those are the only teams that have really established themselves, winning culture. We've seen those teams in the finals, in recent years. They have the talent to get there again. Obviously, they're the top seeds in their conferences. So, those are the big, teams and the big, obstacles that the Nets would have to overcome. And, just being honest, I mean, the Bucks probably the best one. And they have Giannis, sure. I mean, Chris Middleton's good. I don't think he's a great player by any means. I think that team's beatable if, a really good team came along with the star power, somebody that could match Giannis, both defensively and offensively. It doesn't have to be the same guy, but somebody that can at least, keep up with him. Because, I mean, a lot of teams the Bucks beat, they just don't have any answer for Giannis at all. Nobody can keep up with his scoring. Nobody can match that. And then on the other end, they don't really have guys to defend him. The Nets have that. So, I mean, I'm talking more about the Nets, but I know the first thing about the Nets really that everyone's saying, obviously, is, they're not going to win. Yeah, let me get my light on there. I'm sorry. They just told me about that. Get my light on there. I think that looks a little bit better. You can let me know. But, okay, yeah. First off, they're not going to win. I agree if Kyrie Irving's a part-time player. Especially seeing as right now, they are the 8th seed. So, presumably, any major playoff series they play, they're going to have to go on the road for, 4 out of the 7 games. So, you do the math. You need 4 wins to win a series. So, if they don't have Kyrie Irving, obviously, for 4 games, that's a huge loss. Obviously, they can still overcome that, but, that's not what I'm going to say. If they don't get Kyrie Irving back, then all this changes. But I have always believed that, something would happen. Maybe that was kind of just wishful thinking, at the beginning of the season. And, when he first came back, I was like, okay, he's back. They're going to get a glimpse of him ball a little bit, and then something's going to change. But now, I think I have some solid proof that, some major players in this thing are, going to get involved here. Starting with Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner. He was on, I believe, The Jump or one of those shows, on ESPN, the NBA show that they do in the afternoons. But he said they were talking about the vaccination rule that's keeping Kyrie Irving out. And he said, it, quote, doesn't quite make sense to me. And then, what he was talking about pretty much is players from other cities who are not vaccinated are allowed to play in New York, but players that are from, New York City or, live in the city aren't allowed to play. So, I didn't know that was the case. So, when he said that, obviously anybody with a brain would say that doesn't make sense. If it's about and this is what he says. I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let him say it better because this was a longer quote from the interview. But he said, quote, "I think if ultimately that rule is about protecting people who are in the arena, it just doesn't quite make sense to me that an away player who is unvaccinated can play in Barclays, but the home player can't. To me, that's a reason they should take a look at the ordinance." So playing, I mean, that's pretty much what I think exactly. Like, you know, if it's about protecting the people, well, then that doesn't make sense. I mean, why does it matter? You know, what city you live in, if you know the mandates are the mandates, and you know that's why I personally have always said they might as well just be lifted because, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna go too far into politics and the mandates and everything, but I do think the owner of the Nets he's a very rich man. I'm sure he's got some pull, and I'm not saying that he's gonna snap his fingers and boom, Kyrie Irving's gonna be playing. Which I mean, because if he would have done that, he would have been playing already. But I am saying that public pressure, some people with some deep pockets and some influence in that city and in that state. I think the NBA commissioner, that's huge. Like the NBA commissioner saying something, that's big news to me. So yeah, I'm going with that. I think that somehow, some way, come playoff time, Kyrie Irving is going to be allowed to play. So that's the first domino here. And I think if that happens, it's a wrap. I mean, like I said, obviously, it's possible, with him as a part-time player, he plays so well. Maybe they don't lose any games that he plays. They can still somehow overcome. But yeah, that's the first domino here for me, okay? Kyrie Irving, the vaccine mandate is going to be lifted. And there we go. We got Kyrie Irving. Now, it takes me to my second point here. The Brooklyn Nets have the star level talent. I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, they lost James Harden. They don't have big three anymore. And, I say that's fine, okay? No real teams in the NBA right now have a great big three that you can look at and say, that's three superstar players, that are, they get it done. Now, I mean, the Lakers had three superstar players, but it's not working out so well. So, I mean, I stand by what I said. There's no great big threes out there right now. So, I think a big two, one of these big twos is going to get it done. Whether that's Harden and Embiid, whether that's, Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I don't know if Ayton's quite good enough to make that a big three, you know what I'm saying? And then, who else did I say? The Warriors. I guess their big three would be Steph, Clay, and Draymond, but, Clay's still getting right off the injury. We've seen some flashes, which has been good, but yeah. So, yeah, again, I think one of these big twos have to win it. And why not Kevin Durant, who we know what Kevin Durant is, two-time Finals MVP, one of the best basketball players that I've ever seen in my life, 7-foot guy that can shoot the three. He really has no flaws to his game. So I'm not going to spend too much time with Kevin Durant. We know what he is. We know what Kyrie Irving is, an NBA champion, one of the most skilled players that I've ever seen. Again, good shooter, efficient player offensively. He's a superstar. He hit the big shot with LeBron. We know what Kyrie Irving is. So I think the two of them and the style of basketball that they play, it's efficient. They're not the Russell Westbrook star player that, they're not shooting a great percentage or they're turning the ball over a lot. That's not really the case with those two guys. So I think those two guys, one way or another, KD has proved he can be the best player in the championship team, and Kyrie Irving has already proved that he can be the second best player in the championship team. So, bam, they got stars. Next point, they have shooters. In today's NBA, you need shooting to win a championship. I think almost everybody would agree with that. The way that some of these teams can shoot, and as much as they shoot threes, if you're shooting, 10, 15 threes a game, it's not going to work. If you're only making, if you're not making more than 7 threes, you're probably going to lose that basketball game in the NBA now. So you got to be hitting double-digit threes every game, and they got the guys that can do that. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, like I mentioned already. But Seth Curry, they got over in the trade on season 40.8% from the three-point line. That's good. Patty Mills Patty Mills, similar style player to Steph Curry. I mean, with Seth Curry. I think they both are going to, those are two lethal guys to have on the court right there. Patty Mills is 41.4% from the three this year. Sorry, voice gets a little scratchy sometimes. Talking a lot. I got a lot to say. The Brooklyn Nets. But the third guy, Joe Harris. I know he hasn't played in a while, and I know a lot of people are going to clown him about how he played in the playoffs, and I get it, But, hey, at this point, I feel like he's a luxury piece. If he can get back and get healthy, which at this point I really don't know because he's been out about 3 months now. But if he can get back and get healthy, this season he was shooting 46.6% on threes. So, again, like I said, he didn't show up last year in the playoffs. I get it. But, as 5th, 6th, 7th option or something like that, man, maybe Joe Harris can hit a couple threes in the playoffs, some big timely shots. It could really help, so they have shooting. Like all of those guys can shoot. Now there's other guys on the team that can shoot too. DeAndre Bembry, I don't think he's going to get that much run, but he's a guy that you can bring in. He's a veteran. He has a pretty high motor, I would say. He's playing about 20 minutes a game so far this year. But he's shooting 41.7% on his threes. So, like I said, his team has some shooters. Obviously, the guys who are going to shoot the ball the most, Kyrie and KD, almost combined their names there. But Kyrie and KD, they can shoot the ball too. So, I think between all those guys, they have enough shooting to compete with any team in the league right now. And moving on, they have other quality role players too that might not necessarily be knockdown shooters, but in the right matchups, I think Steve Nash, if he deploys his bench right, he could have something here. They have LaMarcus Aldridge, who he's been averaging 14 and 6 this year. Those are solid numbers for, the third or fourth, fifth guy, something like that. He can come in, hit the mid-range. He can hit a three, hit you with that post game when the offense gets a little stagnant. He can work through him. I like LaMarcus Aldridge as a veteran role player. And I like him a lot, especially with the guy I'm going to mention next, who they also got in the James Harden trade, and that's Andre Drummond. Now, I mean, he's not the greatest center in the world. Don't get me wrong. He's not super efficient on the offensive end. But he can do something at an elite level, and that's rebound. He's averaging 11 points and 14 rebounds a game, and that's coming off the bench, for Joel Embiid this season. So, I mean, oh, no, I'm sorry. Those are his numbers in his first 2 games with the Nets. So, yeah, he's averaging 11 and 14 in the first couple games here. That's pretty good. So, obviously, he's showing he can still rebound. He can still do his thing. 11 points. They'll take that. 11 points. He's 50% from the field right now. So, again, that's not a mind-blowing percentage or anything, but that'll get it done with the guys on this team. And continue down the bench. Cam Thomas, the rookie, averaging 9.6 points a game. This guy's a bucket. I think he's going to be a solid player off the bench for the rest of the season. Nick Claxton, just a solid, forward, kind of big man, 9.6 rebounds right now. He's young. He's athletic. Like I said, he's a matchup guy. I don't think that he's going to be dominant in every single series, but he's definitely a matchup guy. I think in some matchups, he can get in there and ball. And then same with these other 2 guys. These are wing guys. Kessler Edwards is a rookie. Super raw, super athletic. Don't think he's going to get much run, but hey, like I said, the right matchup, he might come in there for a game or so in the playoffs. Somebody's in foul trouble or something like that, and he might surprise you. So don't sleep on him. And then obviously Bruce Brown, we've seen him play for the Nets. Solid defender. I think like I said, matchup play. He can come in, put some good defense on. Maybe a guy that's starting to get hot or something like that. So yeah, I think they have a solid bench. They got shooting. They have the star level talent. And now the last thing, the key to all of this, and I know a lot of people are going to laugh. You're going to laugh at this. How could this guy be the key when, he was the key to the 76ers losing last year? That's Ben Simmons. All he has to do is be Ben Simmons. Like, and I know, like, oh, well, he can't shoot free throws, and they'll just foul, and they'll do. Listen, it's a different situation. It's just a completely different situation. Now, in Philadelphia, Ben Simmons was the best perimeter player they had. You know, he was really the only person on the team that could create offense and create shots for other players, you know, outside of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid creates a lot of his own offense, but he's not a point guard, and he's not Jokic. You know, he doesn't average 8, 9 assists. You know, he averages like 4, which is good. It's really good for a center, but again, you need a great perimeter player, in my opinion, to win a championship. So the 76ers did not have that. Just frankly, Ben Simmons is not a great perimeter player. You know, he's not just a great guard. I think Ben Simmons is a very good just player, and you have to find ways to use him. He's not a superstar like we once thought, but he's good. He's a good basketball player that can't shoot. You know, if you took shooting out and said, you know, nobody on the team was allowed to shoot a jumper, Ben Simmons would be one of the best players ever. But, you know, shooting, you know, is part of the game, so I get it. But he's not a superstar. So what is Ben Simmons? And I know that's a tough question. You know, last season he averaged 14.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, 6.9 assists, 55.7% from the field. I'll take that. 14, 7, and 7. And you know, that's efficient percentage. I don't care how you look at it. 56% from the field is 56% from the field is efficient. So look, if he can give you that would be fine. I think the Nets would take that in a heartbeat. Now, obviously, you know, he's not going to shoot threes. His free throw percent is not going to be that great. That's fine. I think they can overcome this because they can take the ball out of his hands, and it's not going to cause, you know, the offense to like sputter or anything like that. You know, in Philadelphia, if Ben Simmons didn't run the pick and roll, you know, who's going to get their own shot? I mean, are we going to watch Seth Curry try to get a step back, or we're just going to watch Joel Embiid, you know, post up every play and get double teamed off of Ben Simmons? And then what? You know, they didn't have any guards that were going to go, you know, run the pick and roll with Embiid and get somebody else open or get a shot for themselves. They didn't have that. So the Nets have that. Kyrie Irving can do that. Kevin Durant can do that. So if a team decides, okay, we're going to foul Ben Simmons, okay, we're just not going to give him the ball right now unless he's right next to the basket to dunk it. Because we have the players now to do that. So I think that, like, you know, him being an offensive liability, he's on a team. That's why I mentioned the shooters earlier too. He's on a team where if they put 4 other guys on the court that can shoot, him and KD can hold it down, you know, run kind of a small ball lineup. They can get the rebounds and everything, running with Seth Curry, Patty Mills. And then, you know, you choose the 5th guy, LaMarcus Aldridge, Joe Harris, like I said, if he's healthy. There it is. Like, that's the lineup, and I think it's going to work out. I mean, those numbers for Ben Simmons I mentioned, 14, 7, and 7, they're actually down from his career average of 16, 8, and 8, 56%. So he's been 56%. You can pretty much pencil him in for that. As the 3rd guy, he's the 3rd best perimeter player now. You know, I mean, maybe not even offensively, but he doesn't need to be. You know, he can pass the ball. He can dribble. He can finish. He's one of the best finishers. He's one of the fastest guys in transition. Like, laugh at me if you want to, but mark it down right here, and I'm saying it. I will continue to say it for the rest of the season. The Brooklyn Nets will win the 2022 NBA championship. I mentioned 13 players. I just talked about 13 different players that are going to help this team win the championship. They have the top level talent. They have the shooting. They have the bench depth. And then they have a guy in Ben Simmons that if he can be, you know, if he can be half of what he's been, if he can be 10 points, 6 assists, you know, 6 rebounds, 56% from the field, he can play confidently. I think there's no way they don't win the championship if Ben Simmons is solid and just ready to go. And it sounds to me like he is. So we shall see. I mean, he's still not playing yet. I'm still not putting all my chips in that Ben Simmons basket. Like I said, I'm still not putting all my eggs in the vaccination mandate. But hey, this is what I think right now. So I mean, I'm gonna pull up real quick. I want to get out of here. I don't want to go too long. But the FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's see if they have any odds on this right now. See if I can get some NBA futures, right? All right, NBA Finals. So right now they got the Brooklyn Nets with the 4th best odds at plus 600. I was hoping it'd be a little worse than that. I was hoping, teams like the 76ers, maybe even like the Heat or whatever, Jazz. I was hoping, the odds makers would believe. But see, even this kind of proves my point. The odds makers have the Nets as 4th behind those teams I mentioned, Golden State, Phoenix, and Milwaukee. So Golden State at plus 600 right now. I take it. That's all I'm going to say. I take it. I might take it right now. We'll see. But yeah, so they're currently 8th in the East. They'd have to win a play-in game. It is what it is. If they're going to win the championship, they're going to have to beat some teams. I think it'll all shake out the way it is. I don't think the 76ers are going to be, that great personally. I'm just out on James Harden. I don't believe in him anymore. He has to prove it to me. He's not a winning player. Some guys like Russell Westbrook, he was a great player, but everyone always said he wasn't a winning player. So that's how I feel about James Harden. Other than that, yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I'm crazy, we can definitely talk about it. I can tell you why you're wrong. Yeah, it is what it is. Follow us on the social medias you see on the screen here. And once again, hit that subscribe button, like this video. And that's going to do it for me. I almost forgot, but shout out to my boy Breakreation on the music. This track that's about to come on right now at the end here. It's actually his newest track, new era. So if you like good music, hip hop, he does some other things too. He's real good with it. I mean, so if you like good music, go ahead and give him a listen. But that does it for me, man. I'll see you guys later. Keep nerding it up. I'll leave this on for a few seconds, let you listen to it. They want me to chill now. Not put my foot on their neck when they gave me a chance. I did it until now, but it's a new day. New era, left it all in the rear view mirror. Hit a 2-for-1. It's a win-win. I can't lose here. Still I need more goals. Found a way in with the door closed. Healthy is wealthy, the Lord knows. I can flex on unfortunate poor souls. Sound like a plan to me. Stick with the family. My life is a game in story mode. I could teach you the steps like choreo. 5, 6, 7, 8. But it's more than a routine. She been controlling your body and mind. It's more than a boo thing. You could have good at a chance for great. Which one are you choosing? Which one? I hit him right in his face out of anger. I call it a mood swing. Yeah, I don't know if I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy. Tell her stay up on my business, baby. Don't ask why. Don't ask. Had to let it know last night was the last time. Yeah. Focus on me now. It's straight to the bank. You know I'm a cash out.